everybody? This is Elisha, and welcome to the Garage Talk. I am so excited to start this YouTube channel, really just to help and start my passion. I'm actually in my garage right now, which is why I labeled this, entitled this channel, The Garage Talk with Elisha, because I really just want to be able to do what I'm passionate about doing it the easy way possible. I really want to help encourage others. And I feel like that's my passion. So young fathers like myself, I'm 25 years old. I'm a father of three beautiful kids, and I'm a husband. In that, you get a lot of wisdom and a lot of things that you go through. And I think that oftentimes young fathers, even mothers, adults, whoever it is, are felt lost and don't have or feel like a way out. And that's where I was just a few years ago, just struggling financially and struggling, just trying to figure out what my purpose is, and struggling with a lot of different, personal things, anxiety, and, financial depression. Just a few years ago, I was in a position where I was working, I was not making enough money, and I did not have enough to provide for my family, or just had just enough to get by, working paycheck to paycheck. And actually, when you look at the stats, just a nugget here, if you look at the stats, almost 58% to 78% is around in that area. If you look at the stats online, Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So more than half of Americans right now, if they do not make a paycheck the next week, are going to be in shambles. And I think that's important to understand, because I feel like we don't understand the reality of it. The reality is, when you subject yourself to making paycheck to paycheck for whatever the reason would be, you literally are subjecting yourself to stress, financial depression, anxiety, and that's what I was under. I even made a video of me just struggling one day, coming from going to work, and I was just dreading it because I was knew I was working that day and I was not going to make enough. Like, I'm like, man, this is the worst feeling ever. But I just want to encourage you. You have to see yourself. The first step to get out of this condition that you're in, as a father, as a mother, as a parent, as a young adult, as anybody that is, maybe in a financial rut, maybe even a mental rut, whatever the case may be, the first thing that you want to do is see your way out. You have to envision yourself out. You to struggle, and the hardest thing is just to see your way, to see that at some point in time it won't always be like this. Envisioning yourself, even if you're making $13 an hour, envision yourself making six figures, even if it seems far-fetched. Just literally 2, 3 years ago, I was making $13 an hour. $13 an hour. And now, and barely able to make ends meet. I made some financial decisions that were horrible. I mean, I'm talking about taking out car loans that I could not afford, doing things that I should not have done because I didn't have the proper guidance and, the financial guidance that I may have needed. And it was so hard for me to forgive myself. So I was in a lot of anxiety and things of that nature, and depression because of this. And I think the biggest thing that I had to do was first forgive myself, and then see my way out. Telling myself, okay, this won't always be like this, Elisha. I will not always be struggling. I will not always be in a rut. One day I'm going to be able to provide for my family. And I actually have a video of of me saying this, and I may insert it just for your encouragement. Now I have my own business. I can go weeks without pay and I'll be fine. I'm on the road to making six figures, making triple, quadruple the money that I was making years ago. And I think it was because, and I believe it's because I saw my way out. That's the first thing. That's the first step. And then the second step is knowing that it will not always be like this. That's the encouraging part. But that this is what helps me. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1, it says, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven," which means seasons are not just natural. Seasons are not just the elements that you see on a natural basis: winter, summer, fall. That's not just in spring. Those are not just the seasons, but to everything there's a season. That's what this, every single thing in your life has a season, which means it will not always be like this. We'll be in trouble if it was always winter, which means because it wouldn't be any growth. And so you have to see what season you're in, at the particular time that you're in right now. You could be in a winter season where you may be struggling. It's maybe hard for you right now. But that means at some point, growth is getting ready to happen. In fact, I noticed last year when it was winter, but it was getting ready to be spring. It was like February or early, I think it was like February. And I saw pollen, I think, on a car. And I'm like, wait a minute. It's still 30 degrees or so outside, 40 degrees outside, whatever the case may be. But I see pollen on cars, which means that even nature prepares itself for the growth. It's even in the cold, even in the winter elements, it still feels like winter, but at the same time, I'm preparing for growth. And I think that we have to do this as individuals, prepare for the growth. So even if you're struggling, begin to read books, begin to study finances. I had started purchasing books and just trying to learn about finances, learn about credit, learn about this and that. I had to teach myself these things because I never wanted to see myself in that position again. Understand that it's okay to make mistakes. It's a season to make mistakes. It's a season to struggle. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 1, it says, "To everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven." All right. In verse 6, it says, it's a time to get and it's a time to lose, which means at some point you could be in a losing state and feeling like everything is against you. Literally, I'm losing everything I have. I can get, a paycheck and all of it is gone. But then the Bible also says there's a time to get.